go live. Here we go. Good morning, welcome to a Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Monday the 8th of April. So first things first, let's just have a quick roundup of where we are. I'm gonna just use the Forex Factory one this morning. Last week, it's just a quick run through last week. Or Friday is the most important part of last week there, but eventually, here we go. So Friday, the employment data came out. Canadian data less good. Should point out there, didn't have a major effect overall, I would say. And the US dollar, well, US data, 0.3 on the average earnings. I actually saw some higher figures than that, but anyway. 303,000 is against the 212, and jobs again the market staying tight. Now there we go, that was last week. So this week, what we got coming up, most importantly then, is we got nothing today, nothing tomorrow. We got inflation in the US on Wednesday. We got the minutes, the FOMC meeting minutes on Wednesday as well. Bank of Canada's central bank meet, so we'll see if we get any changes there. Expectations is to be left alone, like most at the moment are leaving alone. The US, of course, I was just looking at the data here. I'll just share this with you. Let's go to June. Yep, June data. At one stage, well, I'll go back down here. There was in the region of, we're looking at a month ago. Look, there was 73.4%. If you add those ones up there, 73.4%. We're expecting a cut in rates a month ago. Now 48.2 are expecting them to be left as they are. So it's quite a swing around. You would expect more strength in the US dollar, but are we seeing that reflected in the markets? And the answer is a blunt no. We're seeing an uncertainty in the markets. I would have expected the euro on Friday to have come off more. Yes, we saw a sell coming in there, but it bounced almost straight back. The data I'm seeing in Europe isn't that great, and as I said on Friday, you try to rationalize things, and well, the market can remain irrational longer than most people can remain solvent. So you just got to bear that in mind and not try to over rationalize it maybe at times, and just wait for the trends to reappear. For now though, I'm just looking at 4-hourly euro. We do have the weekly pivot below, which could be a drawdown this morning. Say this morning. This morning it's bounced off its daily pivot. It's sort of between a rock and a hard place with there's a quarterly pivot, so pivot's really coming into play. There's resistance, support resistance levels, so the question is, can it break its daily pivot today and push back southbound? Where it's sitting at the moment, it's in a range, and I shall leave it there. Watch out for spikes though. It could spike either side, although there's no real key news coming through. Now the pound, well, it gapped down, but again on Friday it closed up more positive. It gapped down on the data there for whatever reason on Sunday evening, but it's back to where it was basically. Looking at it on the short time frames here, well, we're above the daily pivot at the moment. This is maybe, if you're looking at something that's more bearish on the dollar, bullish on the pound, well, the pound could be the one that gets the legs into it. I'm just coming back down to the or back up to the quarterly, 4-hourly and weekly pivots, quarterly pivots, looking back up here as a potential at some stage if it's going to range. It hasn't got the same sort of resistance. Maybe the 50 could provide resistance, but it hasn't got the same sort of resistance the dollar's got. They've both got similar-ish patterns. Maybe some will be looking at the head and shouldery patterns that are sitting there, inverted, so they're bullish. We'll see. dollar yen, well, as much as with the dollar strength I'm expecting, I think the potential intervention in the yen takes away the trade for me on that, although I would expect that to have shot up more. Australian dollar, another one that's sort of quite rangy on the shorter time frame, particularly rangy on the shorter time frame, but again erring towards the potential for the push out to the highs there. Now all things can change as we push through on the Monday morning. Again, it's a bit rangy. Last what was that, Friday's pivot there, and those highs from Friday, I'm looking, they've provided resistance through the Asian session here. Again, a bit rangy. So similar sort of patterns coming through on these markets, and so if you wonder why you can't really find anything, it's because they're quite so similar. Some of the cross pairs may give some opportunities, which I'll go through after 8 o'clock in the trading room. The US dollar CAD, it's ugly here. Obviously the weak data there saw the dollar strike up, but it's again pulled back up there. But the weaker Canadian dollar, this may be a better long side. Might break out this morning, start moving to the upside there. It's got a nice daily pivot below, nice R1 lining up with the previous highs. This is probably my favorite this morning so far of the majors, subject to the movement post 8 o'clock. I would give it a little bit of time after 8 as well, just to make sure I don't get any fake outs. New Zealand dollar, I was looking for this last week to continue to the downside. It just, well, it started happening but didn't go very far. It never caught the monthly pivot I was waiting for it to hit. A move back below the weekly pivot would be bearish on this, and maybe be the signal to be on the short side. The sentiment has been pretty soft on the New Zealand dollar. I will check this morning in the trading room, but I expect nothing's really changed too much there. So looking for the breakdowns on these. Okay, Swissy. Okay, so this is where the dollar's showing its strength. The Swiss is flexing a little, and we're seeing a continuation of this move, and we've got potential for a more of a push. Maybe this is again with the Canadian dollar, the Swiss dollar, or the dollar Swiss, the dollar Canadian, I should say. This is where we got the chance of the dollar showing its muscle, perhaps. Never held on well on Friday, though. That's the only thing I would say. It's a risky old trades at the moment. We'll see how as things develop today. A couple of cross pairs. I look at the euro yen. It's continuing to push back up again, looking more positive yet again. But again, the risk of the yen there sits in the back of my mind, as if we do get the dollar yen pushing up too strongly. I was looking at the Swiss yen. Now this is one I was looking for the downside. It's not yet got down towards it to start triggering things. This is one that I was looking for some potential with, but the more it consolidates where it is, it's staying away from my sort of setup at the moment. Right, I'm going to leave it there for this video, but let's just have a quick look at the indices. But first, let's have a look at gold. So gold shoving up again this morning. The unrest in the Middle East doesn't help things. Everything put together here, and as just seeing gold shifting up, new highs. So there we go. Not a lot of entries, lots of solidness. Oil has been shoving up there. We've seen a bit of a correction off the $88 mark, and the pivots here, on mine anyway, the $88 may vary depending on which broker you're with or which one you're using on the feed here. This one's got a Pepperstone feed. Depends on your feed, it might be slightly different, but anyway, it's run into its monthly R2, pulled off of that this morning through the Asian session, but we could see yet more to the upside. It'll be more positive above this weekly pivot. It's got a gap above as well. Maybe we'll see a correction back to the upside and a continuation there. But I wait for the afternoons to trade that mostly. S&Ps. What's going on with the S&Ps? Well, Friday, weirdness, absolute weirdness that we're seeing here. But we saw the S&Ps rally there. It initially sold off, but it's rallied back. Is it going to now continue to this downside here? It's quite nicely tucked around that weekly pivot. Be interesting to see if it does pull off a little bit further, but watch out because it's got the daily pivot below. I wouldn't be a shorter on this market at the moment. I'll just wait for long opportunities until it shows its hand in a more detailed and stronger way. But at the moment, it's the risk of the upside, or risk of further upside, is too strong. For me, Nasdaq, similar sort of situation here. Friday ending up positive, and the Dow much the same. So look at the market on the DAX this morning. It's not happening at the moment. It's whirring away. There we go. DAX. The DAX has been just ticking back a step more. It's still got this lower high, and it's looking softer at this stage. Move into that weekly pivot and breakdown would be a bit more interesting. It's definitely got a structural change here with a lower high, and it's a little, well, so the others arguably, but well, whether we're going to get a bigger correction on this, it's a bit of wait and see. But again, it's probably not the right time to be shorting it as such. I know traders will be wanting to short it because it's going upwards, and there are signs, to be fair. The FTSE is a bit more of a mess here, and it's done the same sort of thing as the DAX there, and arguably the S&Ps, etc., but holding on a little bit at the moment. Not looking quite as positive, but we'll see how things develop there. Okay, that's pretty much it for me for this morning for YouTube. I'll catch you same time tomorrow. Take care. Bye for now.